I always believe all of us are unicorns, and we make the mistake of saying, "Oh, we look different, so we should like hide the horn." And I worked so hard personally in trying to knock it down, and I got lost. And I said, you know what? When I'm my authentic self, bubbly self, that's whenever I do my best work. I'm just gonna live with it. So instead of hiding that horn, show it intentionally, and yeah, make it happen. Show the world. In this world of media and AI, authenticity is gonna win. It's the only thing that is gonna separate your business. It's the only thing that is gonna separate your brand. Like right now, you see everybody now can do newsletter, but you can see who used AI and didn't put any effort on making it their own, right? Versus the people who are like the things that AI says all the time and they sound like robots, right? It's just totally inauthentic. So authenticity is gonna be your edge.
Change the Real, a podcast with Monique Velasquez
and Piper Kessler. For over 20 years, we've run a video production business that has achieved what only 3% of women entrepreneurs have done.
Exceed $250,000 in revenue. We want to see business owners that look like us succeed. That's why we've started this podcast.
Change the Real will drop twice a month.
We'll release 2 types of episodes. One is with Piper and I kicking it and talking about using video in business.
And the second features conversations with business owners using media to drive diverse perspectives. This is Change the Real.
Representation starts here.
Hey y'all.
I'm Monique Velasquez.
And I'm Piper Kessler.
Today, I'm excited to get to know and introduce our guest, Jennie Lopez. Yeah, I'm sure she's never heard Jennie on the block. And we're not going to say it here. I came across Jennie on LinkedIn. Her post grabbed my attention. She was doing a series of live conversations with colleagues and discussing the challenges announced when the government changed administration at the beginning of this year. And I thought, I should follow her lead and put together a series to help nonprofits in this area. So thank you for that idea. After I looked at your credentials and your socials, I noticed that you had a real message, a mission, right? So I reached out and asked to connect on LinkedIn and then invited you to be a guest. And here's why. Jennie Lopez is a natural leader, speaker, and an author. She advocates being authentic in life and the workplace. Currently, she helps leaders and entrepreneurs with clarity, strategy, and accountability to become a unicorn in their industry. She's the intentional unicorn, just like the book says. She empowers individuals and organizations to unleash their unique superpowers through keynote speaking, consulting, and coaching. Jennie has over 23 years, I can't believe that, in the corporate world as a Latina chemical engineer, navigating a successful career in manufacturing, business, and HR, including several executive leadership roles. She's been seeing firsthand the impact of authenticity and inclusion, especially in the environments where diversity isn't the norm. Jennie is the author of the recently launched book and an Amazon bestseller, Intentional Unicorn. Jennie is a recognized advocate for diversity and empowerment. Jennie, thanks for joining us on Change the Real. Representation starts here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. You know how many people say the international? I take it as a sign. Like maybe the sign is that that's the next step, going international.
It reads that way real quick, and it's like, no, it's intentional. But I like international too. You kind of are international, so we're going to go with that.
Thanks for having me here. Super excited about the conversation.
LinkedIn is an amazing place, right?
It is. And you are absolutely right. So at the beginning of this year with the whole changing climate, there was a lot of emotion and fear. And I reached out to a couple of friends, and that's the best. I think proximity is key. And I say, what can we do about it in a way that is more empowering towards action versus just being paralyzed by fear? And it's just authentic, intentional, right? Back to that word. And just like you, we reach out to a lot of people giving, this is what we can do. Focus on what we can control and let's empower change. So it was a really nice way to start the year.
Yeah, it totally was. So
one of the things that we always ask our guests is give you an opportunity to hand out your flowers today. Who would you honor for shaping your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh my goodness, that's such a beautiful, beautiful question. I never in a million years would thought that I was going to be in the entrepreneur year because I don't have that in my family, those kind of role models. But I started really this journey with Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's very empowering, very motivational, a lot of knowledge. And I started that journey about 2017. And honestly, he inspired me. And I'm glad that I spent that many years because he says that success is 80% mindset because we can be our worst enemies and 20% strategy. So strategy, I'm good with strategy, but the mindset piece was the one that I needed to work the most, and I'm so glad I did for so many years and empowered me now to just follow my mission 100%. So I would say he shaped a lot of my business and my why.
Have you met him?
Yes. Yes, I'm part. I'm very blessed. I'm part of his platinum community. So I see him personally several times a year, including next week that we have a business mastery training and have a couple of a couple of questions and Q&A with him. Have a couple of even pictures, so I have proof. But no, he's a really, really, really good guy.
Yeah, he's an amazing speaker and a real gift of helping entrepreneurs really get through some things that shouldn't be things, but here we are. I want you to tell us a little bit about your business. What's the heart of what you do and what keeps you motivated to show up and create every day in your business?
I love it. And Monique and Piper, if you think of me, think about authenticity. Like if I have a mission, is to empower people to be their most authentic self because that's whenever we do our best work. So I always think about my why. And if I reflect back about my career, even what you read about me, it looks so nice on paper, right? All success, 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 and nobody knows how hard it is and all the bumps and all the things that we go through. And I said, I don't want the next generation to have to go through that. I don't want my kids to have to go through that. And honestly, that's my why. That keeps me away to always be posting of that kind of empowering content in every social media. And my business, I'm a motivational speaker. I also help individuals to build authentic brands so they can launch what's next for them. Some people that I work with, they are writing books, they are starting podcasts just like yours, or they are starting businesses. Anything that is that they thought, oh, this is impossible for people like me. I don't see a lot of role models there. I just love to unleash what I call unicorns and make them thrive, help them thrive.
Ah, that's awesome. And the name of your business?
It's Jennie Lopez Enterprise, but my brand, where you can find me, is Intentional Unicorn. I always believe all of us are unicorns, and we make the mistake of saying, "Oh, we look different, so we should like hide the horn." And I worked so hard personally in trying to knock it down, and I got lost. And I said, you know what? When I'm my authentic self, bubbly self, that's whenever I do my best work. I'm just gonna live with it. So instead of hiding that horn, show it intentionally and yeah, make it happen. Show the world.
Can you share that moment of when you realized representation was missing in your industry, and how did you push to create the change you wanted to see?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh goodness, where do I start? Because I'm from Puerto Rico. And it's so funny. I never understood this whole concept of diversity and inclusion because we in Puerto Rico, we are a melting pot of everything. So for me, that was the norm. To give you an example, I studied chemical engineering. 80% of my class were women in Puerto Rico, 80%. So for me, that's like, okay, engineering is a woman field. So when I moved here to do my master's in chemical engineering, and I look around, it's like three of us, like three. And I'm thinking, what is this? It was such a drastic change, but I didn't think any of it. But obviously, when I started in my career, I got a lot of feedback that was about what I call more superficial things that they will say, I don't dress like an engineer. I don't look smart, that I empower people too much, that I'm too nice. Even to be honest with you, Monique, one time there was a a boss of mine who said, "Don't let your Latina out when you go to that meeting because it's too important." And at this point, I still don't know what he meant by that. So when you get that feedback on and on and on, I said there must be something wrong with me. And then I say I just want to be respectful. So I think fitting in is the success formula. And I try really hard on my accent. As you can tell, it didn't work. I tried to do more like black and white and just change who I was, smile less, be more command and control. But I lost myself, like I told you. And then I said, that's it. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be intentional. My career took up. And then I said, because I doubted for a while because I said, oh, I don't have role models. But then I said, if you ask better questions, you live a better life. So what if I become that role model? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but just saying, hey, you can be a woman, a mom, a Latina, whatever, bubbly engineer, and still be successful and attain your goals. So that motivated me and it keeps powering me up.
I want to talk a little bit about this idea of unicorn. And you may know this, but unicorn in the business setting is known as a billionaire or $1 billion company, right? And so
Hmm.
I was thinking that maybe that was like some of that too is like wrapped into the intentional unicorn. And I wasn't 100% sure, but I felt like it was about authenticity for sure. But I didn't know
Yes.
how much, some of that idea of business is wrapped into your book.
Yeah, no, not so much into that side, even though always hashtag goals, correct? But honestly, for me, is that I think even if you think about corporate world, we call unicorns the people who are rare. Like those are the gems. But I think we all are. So that's how I think very differently. It's just that we hide so much of ourselves that we don't show how much of a gem we are. And so let's find out what are our superpowers, which mine are different than yours, Monique or Piper, but that's how God put me here and how I can help. But let's be intentional with that. And we all are unicorns and we should be all working towards, together a same goal. Not that one is better than the other one.
And I love, love, love that it's brought together with the idea that it's intentional. It's like, hey, I grew up here in the United States where, assimilation was like the thing. I have an accent to some degree because I lived in North Carolina for a long time, but it's hard to place where I'm from. I was born in Texas. My dad was in the service. We moved around a lot, and there was some things that, you couldn't hide, brown skin, and so there were some intentional things that we were like hiding. We did them at home, of course, right? You've got, your culture and you're expressing who you are at home. And then, we talked to somebody yesterday who talks about not closing those doors to who you are and having that open expression of who you are, and that having those doors open and expressing yourself intentionally with your full self, that is when you unleash the best parts of you. And I think that is what your message is. And I just love that we are able to kind of sew all of this together.
Yeah, I started using more the word. Well, I've always been a fan of intentional, but I think as a motivational speaker, I started empowering people too much because there was one time that there was a lady at the end. She didn't even need a mic, and she said, "Well, I disagree with you because I am who I am, and I still have issues, and I show them that I can be unapologetically myself." But then we're missing the point. It's not about you or me or you, Piper. Sorry, I'm like pointing, and you guys don't know who am I pointing at. But it's about how we can best help. How can we best create solutions? How can we best solve problems? And then, just like you said, Monique, by not hiding any side of you, people are watching, right? And then we become role models and then we open opportunities for others. And for me, that's super meaningful.
Why does inclusion matter to you as a business owner? What's the most rewarding or
Yeah.
challenging part of weaving that into it? Like for us, we intentionally look for LGBTQ and people of color to assist in their
Mhm.
journey in their career. How does
Yeah.
inclusion, what do you do as intentionally with your inclusion as your business?
Absolutely. For me, it's like if I don't have inclusion, I cannot connect to the people who I can help. So I really need to understand different perspectives. And all we know sometimes is I'm a coach too, right? And the analogy that I said is that watching in the sidelines, you're playing in the field, but I'm watching the things that you're not seeing because you're so focused, right? So I need that inclusion of diversity, of different voices, different perspectives, so I can best reach to my client. I'm talking about not only like even, racial, I'm talking about generation, age, different perspective. And I learned that earlier because as a leader, and yes, I was in the corporate for 23 years. I'm not making that up. My superpower was that I created cultures that win. that was it. That's what helped me going from manufacturing to the business and then HR. And by doing that, you just unleash the best out of everybody if you are really focusing on inclusion, on all the different ideas and perspectives. And for me, that's what helped all the organizations that I help us thrive. And I'm carrying that on as a really big learning in my business.
You've got proof in the corporate
Yes,
sector that it was working, and then now you have proof in your own business, right? And helping other
absolutely.
businesses. So I love that there's proof about, working intentionally to bring in different, north, south, age, older, younger, just the international perspectives, all of these things that just help the company, whatever company it is, sort of get a better handle on the market from a different perspective and where you can capitalize your next
Yes.
move or to improve something that you have going on.
Yes, yes, and how you can include the best out of everybody. It's so funny. Some people just they're missing out so much, and I'm not mentioning names, but my one of my biggest business mentors, he was a dropout from college. Even work like he was in a gang when he was younger. Obviously, he had his breakthrough, evolve, and build a multi-million dollar business. And he's such an amazing person, but typically, people will just pass through that if they only judge by one side. So I think people are just missing out. Get to know the superpowers of each person. Forget about the superficial stuff, and let's unleash the best out of people.
When you're working with people like this, they see that you're intentional, right? They see your
Yes.
differences. And do you think that is like an attraction for them to want to work with you? That is part of your superpower and that's what draws them in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. So my superpowers is kind of dual, is the diversity of experiences that I have had. Because you only mentioned my engineering side. I have a just as powerful side as a professional dancer that we didn't cover. So I have all this like, variety of experiences that I can help a lot of people, diverse people. But then a lot of people, they understand, they connect with me because I understand the culture side. So there's not a lot of Latinas out there that have gone through what I have gone through or that have been able to climb the ladder, whatever that's the term that they had. So they do connect with me. They know the perspective. They know the limiting beliefs that we grew up with, and that I know how to connect with them. And then I can do it in English and Spanish. Spanish is the best word that connects with them. So yeah, that's one of my superpowers.
So, because we do video, how has video and storytelling helped you amplify your voice or connect with your audience and using that authenticity?
It's been everything, Piper. And I think I have to thank my dad. So back in the day, the back, like the old video cameras, that you have to put the film and like, right? Okay. He was a fan of that and pictures. And my sister and I were dancers, and he will be taking the pictures of the same dance all the time. But he's like, Jenny, you have to capture the moment. You have to capture the moment and create memories. So I've always lived with that. So before this business, I actually had another business for 7 years as a fitness and dancer professional. And I started in Instagram, and I'm like, I just started connecting with people very authentically through dance and empowering quotes in my dancing for that business. So when I started in LinkedIn, I said, and that was back when in LinkedIn people were just doing, I'm so humble about this award. I just got promoted. I did all the like, I'm so humble about this opportunity. That was it, right? So I said, what if I put a video of me dancing with an empowering quote? So I started putting those videos, and people were like, wow, this is so refreshing. Best way to start the day. Yes, I will get some trolls that say, this is not TikTok. Why are you doing dancing here? And like, well, then this is not your cup of tea. So keep scrolling. Yes, it allows everybody to connect in a way that is very authentic. So the right client, the right audience is going to connect with me because I'm doing it very authentically. So I love video. If you do it in a very raw and authentic way, it's the best way to connect.
You also have this book. What prompted you to use the book?
I always said, it's so funny, Monique. I will say, when I'm old and when I retire, when I have time, I will write a book. It's always been a goal of mine. And then I met another lady. Her name is Jackie Ruiz, and she owns a book publishing company. But I met her because she's a pilot. a woman. And in the last 5 minutes, I said, hey, this is not the end. One of these days, our lives will connect again because I want to write a book. And she said, hold on, pitch it to me in 5 minutes. And I said, so I call it divine intervention. I just like, this is it. And she said, let's do it. And then I almost said, I don't have time. I don't know how, all these limiting beliefs. And I say, let's go, because it's in those 3 seconds of courage. And I'm glad I did. I was able to, this is not like a PhD book. The way I write is the way I have a conversation with you and people connect with that. Ended up being an Amazon bestseller. And I say that saying that, wow, those 3 seconds of courage led to the message reach to so many people, which
Yeah,
is a blessing.
yeah, like being able to recognize the opportunity, seize the opportunity, and not, you know, and I'm going to go back to this was an interesting conversation because it wasn't with a white guy in New York that was in the publishing in a different sort of setting. This was a true personal, you've already connected in a different way, and you had this opportunity because you were in a room with somebody that looked like you and understood where you were coming from. So I love
Yes.
this happenstance, this serendipity, and the courage to say, hey, I'm going to do this.
You're so right. That was a really good distinction, Monique. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that we can do these sorts of things. And I'm thinking that you probably have lots of stories like this where you just are like, hey, let's take advantage of this in your career. I mean, you were talking about dancing. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing. Were you like you had a studio, or were you?
Yeah, so back home in Puerto Rico, I was a backup dancer. So for many big artists, Julio Iglesias, Anita Nazario, Manny Manuel, I worked at a TV show as a dancer as well. See, like film and videos always follow me for some reason. And I always did that in parallel of my chemical engineering. So when I moved to Indiana, I was an NFL cheerleader, captain and choreographer for the Indianapolis Colts for 7 years. I even own a Super Bowl ring, which is crazy. And then the company Zumba, which is like dance fitness? I worked for them, and this one is right. I work for them as an international fitness master trainer for them. So I dancing has been always in my genes. That's what fills my cup, and I'm not gonna stop doing it.
It takes discipline, and you have to. I mean, you really have to think about what it is you do, and you have to have complete control of your breath and your body, and sort of be wholly present. You can't
Yes.
think about your problems necessarily when you're moving like that. So I love that, and that you can bring that to your whole existence inside the corporate situation, which I'm
Yeah.
sure your corporate colleagues were like, "What's going on with Jenny over there?" What?
Oh my gosh, you are so right. This is very clever because I started getting a lot of, I think this is playing against me. Because I had one leader one time who told me, if you want to be taken seriously here, you have to like quit that cheerleading thingy. That's pretty much what he said. And I'm thinking, gosh, they have such a stereotype definition of what is because I was a leader. I had creativity. I took that team outside for a military tour. There's so many skills that I developed as a leader, but they're missing. Like I told you, they miss the gems out of people because you judge too fast, right?
Right. I
So
mean,
for
so they
me,
were like, "Okay, you don't fit our corporate picture. What are you doing? You
no,
get in this lane, get in this box." And they're like, and Jenny's like, "Nope, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm just gonna do my little dance thing
exactly.
here and excel in your lane. So get out of my way." Is what I'm hearing.
So a little bit of that, right? Because I started understanding that the power of owning your voice and owning your narrative. So a lot of people I just wanted to please. So when he first said that, I'm like, "Ooh, that means I need to quit. That means that to please him, I need to be this small." And then I say, "No, let me educate him about everything that it took from 500 girls to like 20 poor, and I was one of them, the first Latina." That I did a TV show with a very well known partner in Univision about all this stuff, right? That he didn't know. Those are the skill sets that I bring also to my daily job. And that gives me an edge. And I remember at some point before I started, understanding the power of owning your voice, I thought I had to choose. Like, it's either am I a dancer, right? Or am I an engineer? And then I had a beautiful, powerful mentor who told me, why not both? And I said, I know, but they're playing against me. And he said, no, Jenny, you are not understanding that each side of yours is making the other one more powerful. And that's your edge. And I'm like, oh goodness, I just have to be intentional. Back to that word. And I just started owning my voice and educating people.
From the outside, I'm hearing this story, and I think, that's a beautiful thing, and you followed your own lead, and you took the advice of your mentor. But I also see this as a way of sort of looking at how in this male-dominated field, they would never say to a guy, "Hey, you're doing this, ultimate frisbee, or you're going on golfing all the time. You need to stop that and not do that and just be a corporate guy." And they're not gonna
Uh-huh.
do that. And so, I see it from the outside being a little bit different, and I love that you were willing to push the boundaries and be who you are in a safe space. And hopefully that particular manager or supervisor was his boundaries were pushed.
If somebody was telling me, well, I need to make sure that I keep this away from clients that they don't realize. And I'm like, but you're denying them, they're opening their eyes and maybe something in their life that they're like, oh, I am compartmentalizing my work and not taking advantage of these other things that I know. So you're denying them the ability
To see a model.
to see a model as an example. From what you've said, I'm like, did you ever feel like, well, maybe I don't want to be that vulnerable. I don't want to show this other part of me, and had to overcome it?
Piper, that's a really good observation. And I mean, we all are human, right? So at the beginning we get that piece of oh, it's me versus him, right? And I'm right and you're wrong. And that's why I always say connect to a bigger why, that I always now give the people the benefit of the doubt. Even the person who told me that I don't look smart. I'm like, I'm giving them, maybe they were giving me in their mind and their definition of the world, because everybody has their own definition of the world. Maybe they were helping me, right, to be successful. Okay, but let's educate. So for me, being vulnerable goes back to being authentic. Like, some people will think vulnerable is being weak, and for me, it's just being authentic and for the bigger picture. Just like you said, let's be a bit, create examples for other people out there. And if you take yourself, like, being so defensive out of the situation and connect to a bigger why, it helps you being vulnerable using your word, or for me, being intentional for the better good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I'm curious here, are you still working in the corporate setting,
No,
or
no, no. I
you're
left
you're
about a year ago.
you're just
I'm not.
you're done. You're like, and what inspired you to go ahead and let go of that corporate job?
I think it's one of the most pivotal decisions I've done, because in my position, right? In my position, I had I love my job. A lot of people say, "Oh, I hate my job. I can't wait to." I actually love my job. So what made it more difficult was that I left my favorite supervisor, I left my favorite team, and my favorite job. But my mission became something that I just could not ignore it anymore. And it was almost like people say, I heard a whisper. For me, they were like yelling, like, why are you waiting? Go for it now, right? And I had to do it. And honestly, going back to my kids, they were the defining factor, because deciding factor. Because at the beginning, I said, oh, high salary, benefits, stability, security, all that stuff, right? That at least when I was raised, that was important for me to never lose that. And then, what if I fail my kids? What if they cannot dance and do taekwondo anymore because I cannot afford it? Like, I was focusing on it going wrong, and then I said, flip it. What if actually I can make more money and I can give them more experiences? So I flipped the focus. And then the other one that I flipped was, I went, maybe I wait until they leave the house and then they go to college. And I said, no, they're teenagers now. They are learning, they're observing. So what a better role model that for them to see their mom now in action every day, working hard, strategic, smart, however you want to call it, and going after her dreams. And for me, that gave me the power I needed. And I say, I'm done. Let's go for it 100%.
I love that. Now, I'm super curious too. Let's talk about how the space that you have stepped into didn't
Yes.
necessarily look like you back in
No.
2017, whenever you went right? So talk about what it was like to be the unicorn again. The space didn't look like you. It still doesn't.
Yes.
It's not 100%.
Still
There's
doesn't
not.
look, yeah.
There's more women in it, but not very many Latinas.
No, not at all. Yes, but honestly, to be honest with you, going back to the focus, instead of saying, "Oh, because I'm Latina, because I'm a woman," I say, "Because I'm Latina and I'm a woman, that's gonna help me stand out because I offer something different." And then every time I get scared because of something I've not done before, I look back and I say, "I've done all of that. I will figure this out." And then the second thing is that I said, because there are not that many women, I'm like, I need to figure this out so I can teach it to others. So there's going to be more women, more Latinas out there. Now, I don't only work with women Latinas, but honestly, they hold a very special place in my heart.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I get that, and I'm really super jazzed that you're out there thinking, "Hey, I can do it. Anybody can do it," and they just need
Yeah.
the model, and if they don't get it from me, then they're gonna get it, but I can help them too follow my footsteps or follow my footsteps and then follow their unicornness.
Yeah, yeah, and then we inspire each other. And it's so funny. I always joke because my analogy is like a little snowball that becomes bigger and bigger. And I always say, leave it to the Puerto Rican girl to do like an analogy of a snowball. But just like that simple example, right, of me and my friends doing that LinkedIn series at the beginning of the year, and then you say, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do it now in my community." And then we're stronger together. So for me, the inspiration is priceless.
I will continue to look at your LinkedIn and what you're doing. We are states and states apart, and we're in different industries. I appreciate what you're doing, and I think what you're putting out on LinkedIn is valuable. I love the energy that I'm seeing with you and your colleagues because I'm like, okay, this is an interesting circle of friends that you. Because I was like, they have to be friends because they're the way they're talking to each other. It was fun. It was fun, and I hope that you guys continue getting together on different topics and just having your circle be, out there as a representation of, hey, we're thought leaders and we can talk about these
Yeah.
things and shift the main conversation about whatever industry you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. No, very powerful.
What kind of media are you looking at doing? Are you looking at you've had lots of access to different things. You can make a TV show, another podcast,
Oh my gosh.
what's happening?
That's always been on my horizon. I love TV. I mean, I did it since I was a little kid. Did it a little kid, teenager. Let's do it. But I love that medium. I know it's kind of dying, but for me, it's not dying. It's being innovated. So it's getting into the Netflix, right? It's getting into it's just a different way of still consuming media. So I'm all about innovating. That's not a problem for me. So I'm looking into what's that next opportunity. I right now in terms of my products is the way the leads find me and say, "Oh, wait a second, who is this crazy lady like dancing in LinkedIn?" Is through social media. So I'm in every social media under Intentional Unicorn. But then one thing that I'm working on is putting because right now I do a lot of coaching and it's really one on one, but I'm putting all of that in an app. So that app is gonna be launching later this year, and I'm super excited. So more people can have access to it. So it's not just, okay, I either work with her or nothing. So there's going to be that. So I'm really excited in terms of media, another way of accessing clients.
Ah, that's awesome. An app, now with AI being, a way to grapple with that. That's amazing opportunity to show up. Yeah, I mean, video is definitely your medium. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we can hear the voice even just in the podcast, just an audio podcast. We're going to hear that joy and that exuberance. So I'm
And the authenticity.
authenticity.
I mean, because that's like, because whenever we're filming with somebody and we see it, I'm like, I have to go up to them later and just go, look, I really, truly enjoyed this experience. I recognized you, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, putting that energy out. Yeah, I mean, we love working with clients that are, have different perspectives and just bring different things. as an all-female crew, often, where it's a weird thing because a lot of people will walk into the room and go, "Where's the camera guy?" It's like, well, that's me. Or where's and so it becomes an interesting thing to kind of see how things shift slightly. And I've been on plenty of crews where it was like all guys out there, and I'm just like one of the many of the people out there. Similar to, I'm sure, being in the engineering world.
Yes. Oh my God, Monique, you just brought me like this flashback. So I was a Six Sigma black belt one time in my career. I don't know if you guys know, it's like a process improvement, very nerdy methodology, all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I led a project and it was my first project that it was all women. And then the sponsor was a guy. He's like, he looked around, he's like, oh, interesting. What did you guys do all day? Watch Oprah? I am not joking. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And again, I was still very young in my career, didn't know how to own my voice. And I'm just smile, kind of like, okay, let me judge. He's joking. I hate him, but I don't want to for him to show that I was, like impacted by it. But I know better. I would have done something better to really, But yes, I've been in that place. And going back, Monique, to what you were saying, and Piper, in this world of media and AI, authenticity is going to win. It's the only thing that is going to separate your business. It's the only thing that is going to separate your brand. Like right now, you see, everybody now can do newsletter, but you can see who used AI and didn't put any effort on making it their own, right? Versus the people who are like, the things that AI says all the time and they sound like robots, right? It's just totally inauthentic. So authenticity is going to be your edge.
Right. I've been in business, since 2000s and seeing a lot of things happen differently in business. And this acceleration of reliance on AI and sort of automation has really been a very short window of acceptance and taking over a lot of different processes. So it's going to be interesting. And I have also, in that same short window, seen a big emphasis on being the intentional unicorn, your authentic voice. And I think
Yes, yes.
you are in the right spot. You are focused in the right place. And I think you are at the right time.
Thank you. Yeah, and I go back. Actually, I'm doing a TEDx very soon that I got invited. I'm super excited. And authenticity, sometimes people overuse the word, right? Be authentic. But I think it's the combination of authenticity, intentionality, and purpose. Once you have that trio, boom, like you unlock your magic. Like your confidence goes up, your impact goes up, legacy goes up, etc.
Well, we are coming to the very end of what we got here. We love having a chance to introduce our audience to new business owners making a difference. We want folks to find you. To know more, how can they find you?
Yes. Every social media is the same, intentional unicorn. Even in LinkedIn, I will say Instagram is a really good way to connect personally because of DMs and lives and stories and things like that. But that's it. And then my website is Jennie Lopez, two N's, Jennie, JennieLopez.com. Yes, I fought a lot for that handle because it's Jennie Lopez, right? But that's where you can find how I can best help you.
Well, thanks for joining us for Change the Reel. And I want to thank folks for stopping in and listening to our conversation. We are a visibility partner to those corporations, businesses, coaches that want to amplify their brands using video in virtual and live events. We aren't just technicians for live streaming work. We have 22 plus years of experience with video production and know what it takes to get it done. So book a consultation call and we'll see if you're ready to hit record.
Thank you, Jennie.
Thank you, Jennie.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Change the Reel. If you like the episode, subscribe.
Share it or leave a comment. And remember,
Representation starts here. Hasta pronto.
see you soon.